Hey guys, it's Mr. Francy here and welcome to my channel. My name is Mr. Francy and welcome to Mr. Francy Reads. If you are here for the first time, welcome to the family, and if you are returning, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a reading vlog. Usually when I do reading vlogs, which it's been a while, but when I do, I check in every couple of days and then stitch them together, but I just haven't had time to do that recently, and this reading vlog is going to cover like 2 weeks up until like the 14th or 15th of January. I haven't read anywhere near as much as I normally do, which is kind of strange for me, but I have been rather busy with uni, or if you're American, college. That's been, well, it was a tough transition for me, starting uni. I was expecting to start it in 2022 and instead I was thrust into it in the second last week of November, and I'm doing it online, so there was just a lot of things that I had to kind of deal with, and I'm finally starting to get used to it now, which is good, which means that I can manage my reading scheduling time a lot better. But speaking of reading, let's get into what I have been reading since the beginning of the year. First of all, you may remember in my reading vlog that I mentioned this book, Fieldscape by Aaron Lynch. I was about 10 or so pages away from being done with this. I have finished this book off. I don't remember what I rated it, but I think I gave it 3 stars. If I gave it something else, I'll let you know right down there. But if you see nothing there, I gave it 3 stars. I thought that this book was okay. When I received a recommendation for this book from another booktuber, it sounded incredibly exciting, and unfortunately, it just really didn't excite me most of the time, but the ending was so good. It was just something that I hadn't seen in literature before, and it just works so well for me. I hope I get to see something like that in the future again. So this is a very short book. I think it's like 56 pages long or something like that. It is self-pubbed, so if you want to support a self-pub author, then this could be the way to go. And with it being short, it's a quick read. But the main focus of this book is that we're following a girl who I don't remember her name, Lisa. We're following a girl by the name of Lisa who is trapped inside a situation to do with a labyrinth, and she has to face some obstacles along the way. Unfortunately, it just didn't work for me for the majority of the way, but the conclusion, the way it wrapped up was, French kiss, so good that I bumped up my rating to 3 stars for this one. Now, I've heard a booktuber saying a couple of times, there's a particular booktuber who says that the way they project their year to go is based upon the way that they felt about the first book that they read. If it was a 5-star book, it's projected to be a good year. If it was a 1-star book, there might be some bumps in the road. Well, my friends, let's talk about the first book that I picked up this year in the spirit of that, and that was this book, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Okay, so I picked up this book to do a buddy read with Casey from Books and Bops. Casey's partner, Zach, has spoken about this book in such a polarizing way. He really did not like this book, and that intrigued me to read it, because when someone doesn't like a book, I want to read it and see where I sit, if I agree with them or not. And you know what? Zach got a lot further than I did, because I DNF'd after 2 chapters, and I'll explain why. First of all, this book is written in second-person writing style. That just does not work for me. I am very much used to either first or third, so second is, I'm just not comfortable with second, but also I don't like when authors break the 4th wall. Now, if you don't know what this means, totally fine, I'll explain it to you. When an author breaks the 4th wall, they are referring to you, the reader. So they take you, or for me, they take me out of the reading experience, because they are, rather than me focusing on what's going on in the book, the focus is then drawn back to, internally, to me and my own experience of reading the book, and it can be a real mind F. So this happened quite a number of times in the first couple of chapters. where we would have sentences that would say, you are standing in a line and you are noticing a clock and you are about to move forward in said line, and so on. It's like, seriously. It annoyed me to the point where I DNF'd after 2 chapters. So there you go. So then the next book that I ended up picking up, I actually don't have a copy of on me at the moment, so I'll put an image up on the screen, and that was this book, which is Class Reunions Are Murder by Libby Klein. This is an adult cozy mystery book, and you know what? Everything happens for a reason, because I did complete this book. So the first book that I completed in 2022 was a cozy, which is so good because I have a plan to read as many cozies as I can in 2022, so what a way to start off the year than with the first book that I've completed being a cozy mystery. Now, I had a few issues with this book, but I also had some things that I liked. My first issue with this book was that for me, it was just way too long. It's 400 pages long. Now, in saying that, I am the type of reader who has no problem reading the Stormlight Archive books, which are over 1,000 pages long and get longer with each next book in the series that comes out. So for me, page count isn't necessarily going to be a turn-off for me, but with this book, the extra page counts compared to other cozies that I've read, which are around the 200 to 300 page mark, it just felt like extra padding that I just didn't need. Another thing that I want to bring up, but this may be considered as a spoiler, so I'll put a timestamp down there for you guys to skip to that point if you don't want to hear this. I'm going to talk about when the murder takes place in the book. I'm not going to talk about what happens with the murder, but when it takes place. If you don't want to know that, skip ahead to that time. Alright, I've given you enough time, now getting into that spoiler. The murder doesn't take place until the 10th chapter, and that really, really annoyed me because I am used to authors like Jacqueline Frost, whose murders take place either within the first chapter of the book or at the latest, the second chapter. So for me, someone who's used to seeing the murder take place really early on, I struggled big time waiting around for this murder to actually happen. And if there's one thing that I've come to know with cozies, and I haven't read many, I've read 4 prior to Class Reunions Are Murder, so I'm not well versed in cozies, but from what I have come to learn, usually murders in cozy mysteries take place really early on. So for me, I was reading this book and I'm thinking, where's the murder? Why has no one died yet? We cannot solve or try and attempt to solve who killed whoever it is until the murder happens. Why is no one dead yet? And it just kept annoying me the more I was reading, going, when is someone going to die? And that when it finally happened in chapter 10, my reaction was, finally, you know? But yeah, going back to the padding and the fact that it was 400 pages long, what really annoyed me about this was that by the time I got to the end and the killer was revealed, my reaction, instead of saying yay or boo, was who? Like, seriously, I didn't even remember who this person was. Like, okay, now we know who it is, but I'm sorry, who in the heck are you? So I had to go back and work out who this person was. But, look, it was fine, and I have taken an amazingly fantastic life lesson from my dear friend Stormy from Booktube channel Stormy Reads, who I'm not going to directly quote her here, but I'll summarize what she is saying, and that is, you can't really get to know a cozy mystery series or whether you like a cozy mystery series or not until you have at least read the second book in that series. So I am going to move on to book number 2. But I will talk about that in just a moment because I quickly want to suggest one other thing that I did not enjoy about this book. Our protagonist is plus-sized, and this is referenced a number of times throughout the book in a way that made me uncomfortable for our protagonist. I just did not enjoy that. Whether it was, obviously in the title it's called Class Reunions Are Murder, so obviously you can ascertain from the title, it's not a spoiler, there is going to be a class reunion that takes place. At this class reunion, there are kids that are teasing her for her weight. She even ends up going to see someone to talk to them about some things she's going through, like a therapist or something like that. And this woman really seems to be telling her off for her diet, and I just did not appreciate that. For me, I'm the sort of person who thinks along the lines of, it doesn't matter what you weigh, beauty's on the inside rather than out, and if you don't mind how big or small you are, then who cares? So it just really annoyed me that it just kept getting brought up, that the fat shaming, if you will, kept coming up. But there are some good things that I appreciated about this book in saying that, and that's why I did receive 3 stars. First of all, I want to talk about the friendship group that our protagonist, who, by the way, her name is Poppy. This is book 1 in the Poppy McAllister series. Poppy's friends are amazing. They are the type of friends that are there for each other and always will be. They support each other through thick and thin, although bad choice of wording, but you know, they support each other, and I really, really did appreciate that. But also, oh, and then there's this scene where she goes into a cafe and gets this coffee from the guy behind the counter, and he just continues to make her day every time she walks into the cafe, and I love that. I mean, if you have a great barista when it comes to the person that makes your coffees, then you've got it made, and you know you're going to keep going back to that barista. So I appreciated that. But the biggest thing I loved about this book was the ending, the way that it wrapped up. It wrapped up in a way that set us up for book number 2. I won't say what happens because obviously it's a spoiler, but Poppy ends up doing something that we know will continue on in the second book. And I'm really excited to see how things progress with that thing that she is now doing. But there are a lot of people who really love this book, so please do feel free to check out their videos if you want more information. The final book that I picked up because as I said, I haven't read a lot compared to normal. Normally I read about, on average, 3 books a week, which would have been about 6 books by now, and I'm only talking to you about the 3rd book that I'm reading. Well, if we don't include Fieldscape, and we don't, second book I'm reading, because I DNF'd the Night Circus. So anyway, the next book that I picked up is a book that I'm currently reading. I do have a physical copy on me that I borrowed from my library, and that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is an adult memoir that Michelle Obama wrote about her life from the moment she was born through to and including, at least for now, where we're at, her time on the campaign trail with Barack, and we've just gotten to the point where Barack has been announced officially as the president of the United States. So I'm enjoying that part of the book, but I have to say I've been enjoying this book from the start all the way through to where I'm at now. One thing that I'm trying to get rid of the glare. Because it's a library-bounded book, it's hard to do. I have enjoyed this book from this beginning all the way through to where I'm at now. One thing I keep forgetting when it comes to memoirs is how easy it is to read a memoir compared to a mystery or a fantasy where I constantly have to keep thinking about what's going on, especially with a mystery or a thriller when I'm trying to work out who the killer is. With a memoir, you're just reading along and you know, enjoying the experience. And I definitely have. Michelle Obama writes with, for me, an incredibly easy writing style to read, so that makes it even more enjoyable because there's no hurdles there. But I've really enjoyed reading about her experiences from the moment she was born all the way through to where I'm at currently. As I said, Barack Obama has just been announced president with where I'm up to. So to give you guys a better idea, I am there, which is chapter 19. I am up to page 285. This book has 424 pages. I am hoping to finish it tomorrow. But yeah, very much enjoying it. Unless something absolutely disastrous occurs that really turns me off from the book, for the remainder of the book, it will be receiving 5 stars from me. So now we're going to look forward to what I'm going to be hoping to read next week. And the first book that I'm going to be reading next week, which some of you have said you're going to be reading this alongside me, we'll be reading it at the same time, is the Patreon buddy read for Zachary and Casey's channel Books and Bops, which is this book, Confessions by Kanai Minato. I have to think of the author and then think how to pronounce it in Japanese. I took a few years of Japanese in high school, so there you go. I am looking forward to this book. This is an adult thriller, an adult Asian-inspired thriller. And I say that feeling really hopeful because I have seen a lot of Asian thriller films and I love them. I don't know what it is, but the way that Asian thrillers are presented, are created, to me just are so much more fascinating than your standard thriller. And everyone who has read this book so far in that Patreon buddy read have come back to me and said they've really enjoyed it and they can't wait for me to read it so I can let them know what my thoughts are. So I'm even more excited to get to this book. And then when I've read that one, I'm moving on to another buddy read that I'm doing, which is with Tiffany from the Beach Bum Bookworm, and that will be another cozy, the first book in the the Beachfront. Beach Bum Bookworm is Tiffany's channel name. The Beachfront Bakery series called A Killer Cupcake. I've heard good things about this too. I have people in the Discord who have been coming back to me saying, Mr. Francy, you have to read this and tell me what you think. I loved it so much, I'm already on book 2. So, I mean, I am just so excited to finish Becoming, start Confessions, and start this book as well. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. But in the meantime, I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. Tonight I have to do 4 hours work on my assessment. I have an assessment for uni due tomorrow, and things seem to be back on track a couple of days ago, but I didn't get time to work on it last night, so I need to catch up a little bit. But once that's done, I will have a little bit of a break between, because I'm submitting that tomorrow night. And I'll have a bit of a break between submitting that and the start of my next assessment. So I'll have more time to get involved in reading, and I look forward to having those active discussions with you guys over on the Discord, particularly with regards to Confessions and A Killer Cupcake. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. I just want to give a very quick shout out to Jane before I do. For my last 2 videos, this one and, well, incidentally, the next one you'll see, Jane actually created the thumbnails for me. Aren't they amazing? And I always believe in giving credit where it is due. I did not create those ones. I'm sure you can tell they are so much better. So thank you, Jane. I appreciate it so much. Thank you to all of my beautiful Discorders as well. And finally, thank you to Lee from Dark Roots Creations for motivating me to get back into doing reading vlogs. Obviously, this is more like a fortnightly wrap-up than a reading vlog, but I'm hoping starting next week, if not the latest the week after. I actually am going to be busy on Monday and Tuesday, at least next week, and I may be away, so if I am, I may not be able to start it next week, but at least the week after, at the very latest, I want to get back into doing a regular reading vlog for you guys, inspired by the suggestion from Lee from Dark Roots Creations. So thank you, Lee, I really do appreciate that. Alright, now we're done. Letting you guys go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Be kind and love one another, and of course, till next time, mwah, happy reading!